Hey guys, welcome back to Bass Wrangler. Today I'm talking about some baits I would definitely put in springtime tackle boxes since spring is coming up. And it's honestly like one of my favorite times to fish, probably my favorite time to fish. I'm just going to give you some tips about it and stuff like that. I'm sorry I haven't been posting in a while. The weather hasn't been too good. It's been raining and then got cold and stuff like that. And I've lost some ideas, but today I'm posting just about some pond hopping tackle box for springtime. So it's kind of like a springtime pond hopping. So let's get right into the video. Alright, I'm going to do a really fast time lapse of me throwing all the baits I want to put in this little tackle box. Right now I don't have my table that I usually use, so I'm just using this little bookshelf kind of thing. And so I was trying to make baits this way. It's kind of a mess on the side and stuff. But I'm just going to go ahead and do a time lapse of me throwing all the baits in. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. Alright, make sure you can see this. Oh crap, sorry. Okay, same position. I kind of left out some stuff. I didn't. Is this in time? Okay, make sure it's on time. I didn't have a ton. I basically traded my friend for his 2 tackle box and lure for my big tackle box, and I wish I had it because this is really thrown in there. It's a little unorganized and there's some stuff. There's like 1 or 2 things that would have been similar. But I'm just go ahead and just dive in. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start with jigs, or just these are things that have skirts on them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start. This is a Googan Squad. Wait, actually, what's the best? Can't say well. This is a Googan Squad casting jig. It's like a juicy jig or something like that with a salamander tail. This is really good for bed fishing. When you see those fishes on beds, just kind of throw it over there. You kind of thump it down. It's a really good way to get a reaction bite. Another perfect bait for right now. This is like early. I'm gonna say this is during spring, like that really prime time, and even like a little before that, throwing it deeper. But next we have some clickbaits. This clickbait, also known as like you can use it as a chatterbait or whatever. These are also really good for now and springtime. Next thing, moving on. Everybody knows this, the spinnerbait, also really good. It makes that nice little flicker, good like vibration bait. And I've got like jigs and all kinds of stuff. Now I got this Strike King smaller size jig. This is good for like smallmouth or just those. This is also good for beds, deep water. This is just really good to throw around to get those bites, even if it's like a harder day to catch them. Next is we have a chatterbait. Also, lots of vibration, flickers a lot. These are really good to use in the springtime. Football jigs, also really good for bed fishing. So it looks like a football. This has like a salamander, like crawdad kicker on it, kind of. I'll also downsize this a little bit now, which I'll probably do. But I've got that in there. I've got a 6th Sense swim jig. These are really good for beds. Also grass. Like those bass that are hiding grass or lily pads. Just throwing it all around that cover. A little paddle tail on there. Really good. That's really good to have. Also, really good is spinner baits with trailers on them, like red ones. I've heard a lot of pros talk about red ones are really good. Just red spinner baits, and like with that, I have a little red Strike King trailer on there. So I'm going to go ahead and move to this side, which is swim baits and crankbaits. Alright, as you can see, I had to take out a lot of baits over here. I would have thrown a glide bait, it wouldn't fit, but I might throw those. Those are for big bass. So I'm just saying this for like the average angler that's pond hopping in springtime, so this isn't massive. But moving on to crankbait stuff. This is perfect. Like, you kind of need this, but using, well, I'm going to move my lamp, sorry. So you can see better. A Strike King or any kind of lipless crankbait red-eye shad are perfect for springtime. Like this is like one of my favorite baits to throw, and they catch so many fish. Next, crankbait. This is an Ozark trail because I don't have very good crankbaits right now, but red crankbaits also. I heard red baits are really good for springtime, March and stuff like that. So definitely using square bill crankbaits. These more shallow dive crankbaits are really good right now since the bass aren't super deep. Also, I like to be throwing little swim baits, things like this. I've heard a lot of pro anglers talking about this is when the bass are starting to eat shad and things like that. This is like perfect resemblance of a shad, which is really good to throw when you see them like jumping up or popping on those shad schools, just throwing this around, maybe solo, not even with the school, so they kind of like have it as an odd one out and go for that strike. Another thing, which is like them fattening up or like eating, but also like swim baits, like soft plastic ones like this. These are really good, paddle tails like that. Really good for throwing out on beds and also just in open water where you can find them just chasing down some food and some prey and whatever. Another crankbait. This is a spoonbill crankbait. Really good. Also, I want to start throwing, not in the places around me, but in like certain places where there's bigger sized bass. I want to start throwing around the 6 cents trays. I think this is going to be really good for those bass chasing down those bigger sized bait fish so they can get fatter to spawn, because spawn is actually going to be decently soon. Right now it's not even pre-spawn yet for us because it's in Ohio, but I know for a lot of people right now it's pre-spawn, so that's also a really good bait. Just bigger sized baits, a bigger presentation when they're fattening up on the shad and stuff like that. Also, I like these jerk baits for early spring when those bass are still kind of like not like scared, but haven't still came up to the top water yet or shallow. So this is for those deep water bass that are still kind of like coming up, just throwing this deep up a drop off. That's perfect for that. And then more for those like bass that are still they're getting more active and moving fast, which this is kind of like a crankbait, jerkbait kind of thing, but I kind of just like not burning this, but slowly reeling this. These are really good. Stuff like that. That's a flicker shad, and this is a flicker minnow. These are deep dives for those bass that are still deep. Alright, moving to top water. One of my favorite baits to throw in springtime around lily pads, top water coverage. I've talked about this on the channel before, but it's hollow body top water frogs. Like this one's like a frog that I use for like walking, which is like a walk is like this, side to side. Really good. It's like a chrome color. Really like this color. It's a Strike King, like sexy or frog or something like that. We got another like a popper style frog. As you can see, it's a big size one. These are really good to get big bass. These are really good for just that springtime when you go find that top water coverage, which even on really hot days, there's just like coverage here. The bass will be under it, throwing it on top of it, and then once it kind of comes out, they'll come up, or even through that coverage, they'll eat it. All right, moving on is walking baits. This right here is a Berkley Drift Walker, which I really love using these. I've caught a lot of bass summertime and springtime on these. These are perfect to throw for this bait, for those bass that are rushing against those bait fish. Just that side to side really stirs them up. This I got from my friend. It looks weird. I threw it in there because I like hollow body frogs. This is a topwater spook, which is like a walking bait, but it's a hollow body, so squishy. So it obviously has those two little hooks in the back. So I might be throwing this if I want to throw that walking bait, which you can't throw this on top of lily pads, or just like that structure or that kind of like just topwater, all that kind of stuff, vegetation, topwater vegetation. You can still throw it over that with things like this. I also have, when the bite isn't good or even creeks, a small walking bait, which would also be really good. Okay. Oh, this box isn't very big, so I have to put the jerk baits with the top water. But anyways, moving on. I have buzz baits. These are really good to throw. Just these buzz baits like these. Perfect for the shallow bass right there. They're a chasing bait fish. Perfect to stir up that water. I've got 2 in there right now. Another one. This is like the $1 one, but I mean, they're just perfect to throw around. That really stirs up the bass. Also, you really want a kicker on these, so like a kicker like this or like a frog one, which paddles on that water to stir it up. Oh, another great thing is poppers. These are perfect shad imitators. When they pop, the water gets thrown out and lands on the water, and it just looks like there's just shad running around being scared of bass, just running at them and eating them. And that's just a perfect presentation. Just pop it, let it stop pop. Just doing that is perfect for the springtime when it warms up. I also got a wake bait top water, swim bait kind of thing. It's like a hybrid. These are really good for throwing on top of beds, shallow, kind of anything that would draw the bass out of it. So these are really good. I'm going to be throwing this a lot. Now moving on to soft plastics. Alright, now I got soft plastics. Usually what I like to have in here is obviously Senkos, but also really like curly tails with Texas rigs. Also, crap, I just like hooked myself. Just getting wide gap hooks. Also you want like Texas rig hooks, but like EWG for sure, yeah. Just wide gap hooks are really good. You need them for Texas rigging obviously, but just curly tails, Senkos. This is called like a, I don't know if I said this right, but like a Zuchi bug. It's kind of like a shad salamander crawdad. It's really weird looking, but I think this could be good for bed fishing. Just seeing them on there. A bunch of different types of Senkos, bright colored Senkos. Also throwing some things like minnows. I don't know if these are called banjo minnows, something like that. Really good on a jig head. So those are really good. Another kind of curly tail, some stuff like that. Also, this is kind of like a drop shot worm almost. This is also from Guggen Squad, but these are really good. They're long and just perfect to throw over beds, or even if it's a little bit deeper, really good to throw. Also, I'm gonna grab something real fast. I will be right back. I do not have crawdads, but if you know what crawdads, I'll probably show a picture real fast right here. Hopefully line with my editing self later on. Crap, and I dropped it. But crawdads are really good. Also, I have bandito bugs, which I think are going to be really good at springtime. You can put these on jigs, Texas rigs, jigs, things like that. Really good. Just crawdad presentation. Really smelly baits, really good to throw on beds, anything like that. Those are really good. I'm definitely going to be throwing these. I haven't put them in there. I like to put my soft plastics and keep them in the packets when I buy them in packets. So I got those. Also, I'm excited. These are like antique things, but I want to throw long, curly, like huge, like massive. Like when you see those big bass on beds and things like that, throwing it over there right now is just perfect. It's just a thing that would aggravate them or just get them to bite it. It's just super long. Perfect for really big bass. Also, right now it's early spring, and springs like that is perfect time before they actually drop their eggs, because right now female bass have a lot of eggs in them. They're fattening up, which is a perfect time to catch them because they're gonna weigh a few extra pounds with all the eggs in them. I think that wraps up for the video. Let's see, totally just filled tackle box to the rim. But I hope this video helped you out. Some tips I'll definitely do is sight fishing. Once it gets warm, like water temperature has to be like 60 degrees before it's like pre-spawn, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I would just do that. That's what I love doing. Springtime is a really fun time to fish. It's a perfect time to start fishing. So I hope this video helped you out. Please like and subscribe. Have a great rest of your day.